So this is the Inspire Robotics Challenge Innovators map. And we're gonna do an explanation of all the missions and how you're gonna approach them. So in total, there are 11 missions in total. And this mission is supposed to be done in 2.5 minutes. So in this 2.5 minutes, you have to make sure you can do as many missions as you can. The good part is we're gonna create a pre-code for the competition. So that means you're gonna be practicing and you're gonna be creating a code. And on the competition day, you're gonna be given 2.5 minutes. And then from there, now you're gonna, with the code that you had created previously, you're gonna be running it to make sure you can accomplish as many missions as you can within that time limit, which is 2.5 minutes. So the first thing is the base area. So this white area with uh, a black line around it. So this is what we call the base area. And inside the base area, your robot has to be completely fitting inside the area. So your robot should not at any point, any piece of your robot should not be outside the black line. If a piece of your robot is outside the black line, you're gonna get a penalty. So you make sure that your robot can completely fit inside the base area. And you're not limited on how you should start. So you can start from anywhere. You can start by the robot looking forward. You can start this way, you can start this way, or any way. So you can start as in any way that you want to. Another thing is you're allowed to go inside the mat. You can solve a certain mission and then come back into the base area. So you can even go solve just one mission and then come back to the base area. Inside the base area, you're allowed to make changes to your robot. So an example is when my robot is here, I'm allowed to even remove this piece. I can replace it with another piece. I'm allowed to even change maybe the wheels and I can put maybe more comfortable wheels. So inside here, I can change anything. I can make adjustments into your robot. But remember, it should be within the 2.5 minutes. All of these things should be happening within the time limit, which is 2.5 minutes. So you make sure you can solve your mission and then come back into the base area. Make sure your robot fits inside the base area. So I'm going to do an example of different ways you can approach some of the tasks so it's easier for everybody. So an example is, let's start with the first mission. So the first mission is the reforestation pod, which this is the reforestation pod, and you have to deliver saplings inside the reforestation pod. So these are the saplings, and that is the reforestation pod. So the aim is to get the saplings and drop them into the reforestation pod. But sometimes carrying it from that place to where it's supposed to go, it's a little bit tricky and you have a lot of missions that you have to solve. So an example of an easier approach is I have my robot here. So I can make a program where my robot can move forward up to where the saplings are. And then I can drop my arm right here, completely down. And then I can drag the saplings all the way back to base area. And since I'm allowed to make changes in the base area, I can now put an attachment that maybe might be able to hold my saplings. An example is, let's say I've put a different attachment and I can put my saplings there. And next thing I can decide to move forward to where I'm supposed to deliver the saplings. And now I can just drop it by flipping the arm. And then I can get back to base area. And then now I can prepare to go and do another mission. So on our second mission is the AI waste sorting station. So this one is the AI waste sorting station. And there we have to deliver the colored blocks which represent trash inside the waste sorting station. And remember, your robot has to do that, not your hands. So an example is your robot has to start inside the base area. So I'm repeating so that most of the team can understand that. Your robot has to start here. So when you're told to start, you have to start completely in the base area. And so your robot has to be the one solving the missions, not your hands. So your robot has to pick the colored blocks and drop them inside the sorting area. So if you're able to deliver each colored block inside the sorting area, which are 3 of them, then you get 10 points for each. So that is the second mission. On our third mission, is the water purifier unit. So this is the water purifier unit. And what you need to do is we need to get a filter block from the base area, which this is the filter block, and you have to drop it inside the water purification unit. And if you're able to do that, you get 20 points for that. The fourth mission is the solar and wind grid. So as you can see, this is the solar and wind grid. And what we need to do is we have a battery pack here, and you need to grab this energy block and drop it inside the battery pack. And by doing that, you're gonna get 20 points. So the fifth mission is the wildlife monitoring camera trap. So this is the wildlife camera trap, and what we need to do is we need to drag it into this circle. So if you can drag it completely with the robot inside the circle completely, you get 10 points. But if it's partially means that a piece of the camera trap is outside the circle, then you get 5 points. So completely you get 10 points, partially 5 points. So the sixth mission is the urban green rooftop, which is installing solar panels on the rooftop. So this is the solar panel, and you just have to install it by just pressing it back completely. And if you do that, you're gonna get 10 points if you install it partially. Partially means if you push it a little bit, but if you push it completely in, you're gonna get 15 points. The seventh mission is the disaster response kit. So you have to get a first aid box, which is a block on the base area, and you have to drop it inside the disaster response area. So if it's fully inside the disaster response area, you get 20 points. But if it's partially, if it's outside, let's say just touching a little bit there, then you get 10 points for that. So the eighth mission is the ocean cleanup mission, where you have to pick a trash block and drop it inside the ocean cleaning boat. And if you do that, you get 10 points. So the ninth mission is the forest health scanner, where you have to pick the forest scanner, which is here, and you have to drag it all the way to the other side of the table to this circle inside. So if you put it inside the circle completely, you get 10 points. But if it's partially, that means a piece of it is outside the circle, and then you get 5 points. So the 10th mission is the AI self-driven car, where you just have to get the AI self-driven car and place it in front of this car. And if you do that, you get 10 points. The 11th and the last mission is the central AI hub activation, where you collect these data tokens that are scattered around the mat, which are 3 of them. And what the robot needs to do is to open this AI hub activation, and then you need to drop these tokens inside the AI hub activation. So each token is 10 points. So those are the missions for the Innovators map that should be done in under 2.5 minutes. And you can be as creative as possible. The only thing that is not allowed is you can't use 2 brains in a robot. You can use as many motors as you want, as many sensors as you want, but only 1 brain is allowed to do the competition. So be as creative as possible and try to solve as many missions as you can in 2.5 minutes.